Dave, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, chicken counter, how you doing?
Le- I wanted to start the podcast off just by asking you a question.
Okay.
If we were like the Dan Patrick show, I would be like poll question, and like we'd have a live audience, and people would like be giving their feedback right away. But it's just you and I. People can jump in tomorrow and share their thoughts. But I haven't prepped you for this. You don't know anything about this, but I've really been feeling this in my ethos for a while here. And so I want to see what you think, Dave. Do we,
Yeah.
viewers, do we have an impact on sporting events, Dave?
I mean, there's a couple schools of thought there. You got the people that are convinced that if they don't have a certain shirt on, or if they don't have a certain food, their team's not going to win. You know,
So yeah, we're
um,
talking about superstitions a little bit.
yeah, some of that kind of stuff. Then there's just you know, you will them. You're watching, you're like, he's going to catch that pass,
Yeah, yeah.
or he's going to block that kick. There may be some of that going on, but ultimately, yeah, I don't
Or do
think
you
any of that.
think that like what about we'll get into a little bit of theology here. What about, um maybe maybe I did something good or bad in my life. Am I being rewarded or punished if my favorite team, like that thing that I want to happen on TV, does or doesn't happen? Like, is that is God orchestrating any of
Yeah,
that?
I just think the odds of, you got a lot of people on both sides. Chances are most of them have done some good things that week. A lot of them have done some bad things on both sides. So,
Yeah.
maybe it's like whoever has done the most good, that's what's going to happen. But uh, or
So
maybe maybe
so
it
so
is you.
you're
Maybe
so
it's
you
you.
okay. Well, I was gonna say, so like this goes back to the spring that I started turning on Reds games and watching them. And every time I would turn on a Reds game, I mean,
Yeah.
and this without fail, turn the game on, be like, oh, what's the score? Where are they at? Oh, you know, Dodgers are hitting. Oh, home run. Reds are now down 3-4.
Well,
Ha-
here's the
Like
thing
that
about
just seemed like it happened all the time.
here's the thing about numbers is I think they finished 82 and 80. So
Yeah.
it's basically a coin flip that, there's 80 games that they were going to lose, whether you were watching or not.
Yeah, you
And
think so,
then,
huh?
yeah. So, I mean, it, it was pretty good odds that you were going to
Okay.
watch a loss because almost half the time, they
Yeah.
lost. Now, maybe
I
anecdotally,
also so
they were winning and then they started losing. Maybe that's what you
yeah.
remember the most.
So I also feel like sometimes when I go all in on something, okay? So last year, Bengals are playing in the AFC Championship game for the second year in a row, and I go out and I get myself a Joe Burrow jersey to wear for Sunday church that Sunday, and then to watch the game that night against the Chiefs, and they lose. Rewind history 15 years earlier, 18 years earlier, whatever it was. I go and buy myself a Carson Palmer jersey for the playoffs, and I'm sitting on my couch and I'm watching a playoff game, and he gets his knee buckled
Hmm.
playing the Steelers. So I just always feel like that any like I don't know. There's a and so but you're saying there's nothing to any of that.
I don't think so.
So if I go on Monday and start talking a little crap about maybe potentially winning High Points, you
Pointing
know?
out, like you're the one for the record that pointed out how long it had been since you'd won
Yeah.
last.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
else
You
did that
gotta
for you.
get this monkey off my back, you know what I mean? Since 2017, gotta, we wanna get this thing off, and then have a little, I mean, to be honest, I was having the beer on Monday night, regardless of what was happening. Yeah, I mean, but send that out to Rennie, little pregame celebration here, and then they lose. So that was happening, no matter if I did it or not.
So you want a touch of context before we get into anything else? Is going into that night, you had no players left, and you had a score of 137.8, which is not shabby at all.
Yeah,
there'd been some big scores.
Other weeks, it wouldn't have won last week.
No, it wouldn't have came in second. But for this week, it seemed pretty formidable, and you had a 23.2 lead on Rennie, and only two defenses this week scored that many points. One was Dallas, and the other happened to be the team that you played. So, and in context, Seattle for weeks 1, 2, and 3 combined had only scored.
I posted it out there for people to see.
They'd only scored 13 points total.
Yeah, they went. They were trending in the right direction, but they started out negative in week 1, and then
they did. But then the Giants, in their 3 weeks, had the defense that went against them. Week 1 was bad. It was Dallas, and Dallas got 37 against them. Arizona only got 2 points against them, and San Francisco, pretty good defense, right? Only got 10 points against them. So, Rennie saw something in him. He had he likes Monday nights anyway.
He does. So, yeah, he likes to save that stuff up.
So I know nobody likes to hear about other fantasy leagues besides this podcast, our fantasy league.
Yeah.
But they did help me get high points, and I had Seattle going Monday night, and I had gone against this guy named Christian McCaffrey. You ever heard of him?
So I've heard of him.
So the guy I was going against had this ginormous lead, which you know about ginormous leads. And
hey, let's not lose context here. I still won. Okay?
You did.
This is not the junior collapse. Okay.
Exactly.
This was just Rennie taking high points.
So yeah, I thought I thought I was going to lose, and then all of a sudden Seattle kept scoring, and I took the lead, and I never lost it. So, so that this match brings us to the Miller Time Team of the Week, because I already had this week's trophy engraved with your name.
Yeah.
Like with the 22.
It was coming.
Yeah. And then, somebody just snapped it right out from under you. And that somebody, I think he owns a couple businesses, living the good life. Old Rennie gets Miller Time Team of the Week, because it was just a dramatic.
Get richer.
Yeah.
Hey, but here's the thing, like, I'll take how it, we're watching it, I mean, and obviously, but like, you could see it coming.
I know.
But it was a landslide. Like, it wasn't like, if it would have came down to a sack on the last drive when, they should have had him out of the game, in the fourth quarter.
Well,
it's like,
you posted about, it's not over because the Giants could score, but they couldn't. Theoretically they could.
The Giants head coach and I were so in sync when now I can't even think of his name. What's is it Jones? What's their quarterback's name?
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. There it is. I kept on wanting to say Mac Jones, and it's like, no, that's not right. So Daniel Jones, when he walks off to the sideline, that coach, after throwing the pick six, and that's the thing too. Like, you get tackled in the field of play, and then like that, it totally changes everything. Like, you can get a pick, you can get sacks and all that stuff. He needed to get
in the 24. Red zone. They still have to go the whole length,
Yeah. But no, he freaking throws a 100-yard pick six.
Yeah, and I know you guys, you especially like to bring up Waller, and it's just really tough to get any points when your quarterback is on his back the whole game,
Well, and like Daniel Jones, the O-line, like the play calling, like it's all bad.
They're missing Barkley. I mean, Breida, and I think I called him Gainwell because there's a lot of wells. It's not Gainwell, it's Brightwell. Like, those two guys just aren't scaring anybody. And so they're throwing it to people, Hyatt and Campbell
Well,
and
we're getting off on a tangent.
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah.
is an award.
Good job, Rennie.
Rennie, Miller Lite, Miller Time, Team of the Week. Congratulations. I probably in the future will do the exact same thing and talk smack and
Yeah.
celebrate early because Dave told me we have no control over it. So I only know how to be me.
Rennie kept posting the drip, 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 drip.
Yeah.
And thing is, if it wouldn't have happened, nobody expected it, them to score 30 some points. So
Yeah, yeah.
he would have nobody would have remembered that he was doing the drip, drip, drip thing.
Yeah, yeah. People remembered my 7:30
Yes.
celebration post.
Yes. So let's talk. That was the good. I mean, you still won.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a good week. You knocked yourself. You're up in the 2 and 2s. You're right where you're in a better spot than you were. Possibly if you still won and you had a good score.
Well, so, and I had some low scoring games, so that that helped, right?
Yeah.
But
so let's go. Let's flip the script. And who do you got for us? That's a hillbilly.
Hillbilly of the week. And if I'm being honest here, there are a lot of options because I feel like a lot of teams laid some goose eggs. We had been bragging on Ratty. He's been rising in the power rankings. You know what I mean? Lays an egg. Andy, we were ready to maybe crown him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And 86 points. You've got Ed, who again another team that we were ready to maybe crown. 76 points.
I mean, he dropped 100 from his last week.
Yeah.
You would have to go negative to drop 100.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's true. And then it comes down to, look, Rennie gets all the glory for coming back and winning. He gets Miller Time Team of the Week. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just be me, and I'm gonna talk trash, and because I think everybody understands, it makes the chat more fun. It makes the podcast more fun. I'm not giving me the hillbilly because I didn't lose. Had that been, I was head to head with Rennie. He came back and beat me on Monday Night Football, and I'd been talking all that smack.
Yeah.
Give me. You got to give it to Junior because 3-0 and 3 teams just leapfrogged him.
Yeah.
And now he's in the basement.
He is. He's the lowest of the low.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about his lineup.
I think he needs to start doing some of your drinking routine just to, try to spark himself.
Now, Rennie, again, in the comments, not the YouTube comments, but in the group chat tomorrow morning, watch the podcast. You weigh in. Do you think we have control over how these things happen? My logical side says no way, we don't have any of it. My soul says we do because I just experience it so often that karma's always out to get me. But Junior drafted Joe Burrow, and Rennie said, "Hey, maybe Junior jinxed Joe." I mean, he has not been the same. Now, I would wonder if Junior has that kind of power, why he didn't jinx Josh Allen last year.
Junior's defense, Burrow was that calf injury had already happened before he drafted him, and that is what it's all stemming from. He can't move like he normally does, and then that's my take anyway. I like to blame Junior for a lot of things, but I don't think I can blame him this one.
Eckler is killing him too.
Yeah, that was and up until this week. Well, not, I mean, even Eckler was technically his second round pick. He had Garrett Wilson.
So Junior hillbilly of the week simply because he fits the mold. But let's just talk. So we mentioned Burrow. Okay, Burrow has not been the same, and that's been hurting him. He's got Eckler, who is played what?
Part of the game, I think.
1 game?
I think part of one. Yeah.
Okay. So he's been out multiple weeks already. One of his what he thought was going to be just a great wide receiver, Wilson, lost his star quarterback
Yeah.
in the first two plays of the
First,
game
yeah, that
of the season.
I mean,
And
the
so
whole Hard Knocks, they were primed to have a great season, you
yeah.
know.
So yeah, and so like you just look at his team and it's like
Everybody keeps waiting for Kyle Pitts to be the next, Jimmy Graham in his prime or whatever, and it
yeah,
hasn't happened yet.
yeah. And Pacheco did
He's
great
come
for
on
him this
strong.
past he did better for him this
Where would
past
he
game.
be
He's
without him, man?
yeah. So but yeah, so it's just been tough, but Junior, congratulations. We've kind of mentioned some of these, but let's start with Adam. Like, is there anything worse than Adam continuing to gain momentum? I mean, he's
So
undefeated. He's been
is that
flying under the radar, but now his
without
points are
without people that he drafted,
yeah,
well, he knew that he wouldn't have, Kamara, but he didn't know he wouldn't have Cup necessarily for as long as he didn't have Cup. But now he possibly could come back. So he's only getting stronger, and he's already got all the wins under his belt.
yeah.
Now he doesn't have the points
No,
quite the same as
and
what
and
some of the other guys.
Herbert was looking like he wasn't going to play this coming week, and now
Yeah.
he's looking like he might. Because I was like, oh man, if
Well,
like he doesn't have another quarterback, and the
well,
quarterback,
he's not playing this week. They're on bye.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
So, but
uh,
that gives him 2 weeks. So he'll have to pick up some schlub, and that guy will probably score 25, and he'll be fine.
yeah, yeah. So Herbert's out this week. He was
I mean, he
questionable
finished the
about
game, and he has 2 weeks to heal. I think he'll be
yeah.
fine.
But my point was Adam doesn't have a quarterback on his bench, and all the
Yeah.
quarterbacks that are out there right now, none of them are like desirable.
Yeah.
But Adam will turn lemons into lemonade. So
Yeah. There'll be one guy like there always is that scores above 20, and he'll pick him out.
yeah, Diggs back to his old self.
Yeah. I
So
mean, I don't know about like a lot of times when I'm watching, I'm looking at the scores of the other games, and I just kept watching. Every time there was a score for Buffalo, I'd click on it to see if it was Gabe Davis again, and it wasn't. It was Diggs.
yeah. So then we had Ed versus Rennie, and well, we'll mention real quick. He played against Time Brian, and Brian scored 99, which is
Yeah.
respectable, but just Brees Hall has not been what he wanted him to be, and
Every
you
week he
know,
seems like he has a breakout run, and then he has to go sit down for a while, and then he
yeah,
never does it again.
yeah, and Debo went from having an amazing game a week ago to having a non-existent game.
So yeah, I think the rumor was that he was hurt, but then he played, but I think it seemed more like a decoy because he had no targets thrown,
Yeah,
and he only ran the ball a couple times. So I was like, but you don't know any of that, you
well,
know.
but and I think it could bounce back and forth, game to game, but it's going to be hard for Debo, Christian McCaffrey, and my
Ayuk,
wide receiver
yeah,
Ayuk
Ayuk.
to. They're not the Bills. They're not the Chiefs. You know what I mean?
Kittle's on that team too.
Yeah.
He
So
never gets the
so
ball.
when Ayuk doesn't play, I mean Debo, the targets go way up for him. But yeah, him being injured hurts Brian. So then we've got Rennie versus Ed, and so I know we talk a lot about the 31 because that came at the end, but I mean Josh Allen scoring 44, Kmet scoring 20. That helps you get to high points for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, heck, two of
Um,
those almost hit 76.
his favorite new uh Devon Aiken, his new favorite running back is blowing up.
Yep.
I mean, what Miami's been like rumored for all these different running back trades, and now they got to be asking themselves like, why would we even bother?
No, yeah. I mean, and the narrative is always like Tua, Hill, Waddle. Like nobody thought you'd be relying on Miami running backs.
Yeah.
You know.
So
But
he went
when you
up
score
against
that much,
so he went up against Ed, and this is the curse of Kirk Cousins. It's feast or famine.
yeah. I mean, it had
So
been feasting for 3 weeks. Their team wasn't winning, but he was doing great.
yeah.
But so what did he do this week? I didn't even see.
15 points,
Yeah.
139 yards, 2 TDs, and 2 interceptions
So
at the
that would have
very
been, those are -2, right? So that would have been,
yeah.
yeah, that's took him farther away from plus, the interception is the minus plus you lose the ball and
Yeah.
you don't get
Yeah,
any
maybe
more
you were
points
gonna
that drive.
yeah. His running backs, I mean, so he's got Mostert, who everybody
I,
was saying was going to do great, and then like I don't understand how some of these running backs just fall out of favor with
yeah.
their teams, but
And
obviously
like
he has.
I thought I kind of thought Pollard was, I mean, Dallas has, supposedly a decent line. They're going to score, or, they get the ball back because their defense gets it. But Pollard's not, he's been getting these scores, right? I think he had a good week 1, if I remember right. Yeah, 20,
Yeah.
12, 12, 6. So he's like progressively got worse.
Yeah, and when you only get 6 from Travis Kelce, that hurt. I mean, like that'd be great for anybody else's tight end. You'd be fine with that. But when you
Yeah.
pick Travis, when you do, he's got to produce like a
I
wide
just think
receiver.
those cheap, all the players are so volatile.
Yeah.
You
And
have no idea who.
Amari with the late scratch of Watson, like that hurts him, right? They're not
Yeah.
going to do anything. And but hey, Ed, if you watch this, I know you're not. Kudos for picking up Thielen. He has been solid ever since I dropped him.
Yeah.
So man, what a Lee versus Brennan was the game of the week. I mean,
Yeah.
outside of Rennie's heroics,
Yeah.
that was like the one that I mean, it came down to the wire. Brennan benching a player so that he didn't go
And
negative.
I don't see it at this point. Yeah, that guy ended up scoring like 1.2, so it wouldn't have been,
Yeah,
it wouldn't have hurt him, but I don't know that he's ever going to miss those. Like if he gets himself into a position where those 1.2 points are the
yeah,
difference between
yeah,
eighth place and ninth place, then good for him, but
yeah.
or bad for him, I guess. But I
The
think,
win's more important. Yeah,
yeah,
and the way that game went, Brightwell could have very easily had a fumble or went negative.
yeah, like a little screen pass for negative yards or something. And what's the
Yeah,
difference? It was point, not even a point, right? Point
yeah,
nine. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
a
So,
fumble.
a tough one for Lee to lose, but I think Lee's going to be fine. It is interesting now that we're going to get into bye weeks, and we can talk about that a little bit more in a
Yeah,
second. You played Junior, as we talked about. Junior's team is terrible. We kind of
didn't
mentioned
put up
some
a
of his
fight.
players. You finally got your Justin Fields game.
And that's where we've used this term before, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
like if my quarterback could play against Denver every week, I think I'd be a lot better. Who
yeah,
knows? Maybe, I mean, I started off with Washington defense. I had them, I drafted them because of who they played week 1, but they didn't turn out. I got rid of them. But he hasn't been playing very good. So except for this week against Denver. So maybe it'll turn things around. I don't
yeah.
know, but
Running
yeah,
backs.
big game for him.
Yeah, and running backs did okay. Anytime in this NFL, if you get more than 10 points from your running backs, obviously you'd love to get that 20 spot, but like
Yeah. Well, and
anything
once
anything
Rennie
over
started
10,
doing his thing Monday night, and I still
yeah.
had Metcalf and Waller going, I was like, yeah, I'll save their points for later. It's not gonna.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna catch him, so I'd rather
Yeah.
them just sit and do nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, DK had a decent game, and it's good to see Seattle's offense kind of getting
Yeah.
revigorated because man, they to begin the season they kind of started out slow.
But I mean, it's one of those. He got that early touchdown, but then they didn't have to do anything the rest of the game. Their
Yeah.
defense.
Right. Yep. Um, Ratty versus Flex, and I mean he did all that with Mahomes getting 17 points.
Yeah.
McCaffrey and Mahomes on your team, like
I,
that's lethal.
McCaffrey's just been, and like they're just riding him too. Like he doesn't come out of the game
Yeah,
hardly ever.
yeah. And then you get that Well, and like before McCaffrey got traded there, Debo did a lot of that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but now McCaffrey just does it all. And
Yeah.
they only line up Debo in the slot or,
Yeah.
four wideouts and
Even if they
McCaffrey.
do run Debo back there or that Curtis Samuel or somebody else back there, usually they just move
Yeah,
McCaffrey over to the slot.
he moves
It's
to
not
the
like
slot
he's
or move. Yeah,
coming off the game. And he'll do a big run for 30 yards and he still stays in the game. Like he never
yeah,
leaves.
yeah. But Travis is stacked. I mean, Waddle did nothing, and what happens? More obviously they played Denver, so that helps. What's he do? He gets 20. He got 14 from his kicker, and
He had a down
so
week from Hawkinson, but who's still the the number 3 tight end in fantasy.
yeah,
So it's like,
yeah,
yeah, Travis
and
is going to be
and
tough to
and
catch.
and this was, you said it earlier. If you get a game where Tua and Hill don't produce, then that makes everything harder on Josh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Travis was vulnerable. Travis was within reach. If Tua and Hill score just
Yeah.
a normal amount of points that they've
Well,
done.
and I mean, Higgins getting hurt early in the game, and I mean, their offense is struggling anyway, but he
Yeah.
got hurt and left after one catch or something.
Yeah.
That could have been another 10,
Yeah.
six,
I
7
mean,
points.
dude, Josh is going
Ju-
to
I mean, he lost his running
enjoy.
back too. Like
Yeah.
that's 12 points there that he could at least got to hunt. I mean, yeah, a lot went wrong for him.
Yeah. You take that Arizona game out of Dallas's defense where I don't even know what happened. 37, 17, 28.
Yeah,
That
that's getting it done, defense, man.
Yeah. So, and then we had me versus Andy. Actually, Jalen did really good for Andy. Josh Jacobs did well. Walker ended up with
Yeah,
13, almost 14 points. That -3 from Pittsburgh, and then less than a point from Kittle. Like, what, Pittman Jr.
but
is like,
still,
he just
even if he
had.
gets to 100, he loses by 30 to you.
Yeah, but he just had some guys that normally will do better. And so I think Andy's going to be fine.
Yeah. So are we both in agreement that Cup can take a couple more weeks to heal? Since you got Puka and I got Atwell that might lose some touches. Probably me more than you because I think Puka's kind of earned his keep. You know, it's tough to support 3 wide receivers, but and Cup's going to get thrown the ball, but maybe it'll be better. Maybe
Yeah,
a couple
but
draw attention.
did I see Stafford limping off the field at the end of that
Yeah,
game?
yeah, you did, but I think he'll be all right. His hip was hurting.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So that brings us to this week's matchups, and we will start with Travis because he's in first place and
This is a
also
good match.
the top of our power rankings. Yeah, it could have been a battle of undefeateds.
Yeah, it was. I mean, within a point.
Yeah. And so you know, 4-0 Travis versus 3-1 Lee. Now, Lee's got some work to do in his lineup.
Yeah,
But
he's got. You know, it's a different approach. Lee has 3 quarterbacks to choose from, and pretty much Travis is only ever going to bench Mahomes on his bye week.
yeah. And you know, Travis doesn't have to do anything, and he's projected to score 107 points. So
Yeah.
Lee has his work cut out for him,
Yeah.
but I mean, the good thing about those projections is that like that's based on what you think they're going to do and their track record, which has been really good. But we also know that they can come up short. You know what I mean? So you still got to wait and see what happens on the field of play. So, but that'll be a really good one. Um, we've got Adam versus Brennan, and you know, again, we got to see who Adam plugs in at quarterback.
Yeah. Well, Brennan
Um,
needs some help too. You'd want to catch if you're going to catch Adam on a week where he has to pick up somebody. You don't want to be in the same position, and
yeah.
Brennan needs a running back.
If I was Brennan, I'd go on tonight and pick up every quarterback that I could. Just put a waiver in for all of them.
I mean, thing is, there's at least 2 teams that have 3, so that thins it out anyway. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, Adam's not going to waste a waiver spot on it. He's going to get up
No.
at 5 a.m. and he's going to go pick up the best available.
Yeah.
And so, Brennan could just put in a waiver for all of them. Just use all 6 of his bench spots, drop all those guys, fill it full of
Did
quarterbacks.
Brennan had the number 1? Did he use it last week? I don't remember if he used it.
I don't know if he did or not either. I
Waiver
can't
order.
imagine he did.
Nope, he didn't. So he still has it. So he can, and he's right in front of Adams too. So he can try to figure out who Adam wants. But Adam's not going to use it though,
No.
So
yeah,
but he
because
could try
because it doesn't matter.
He could try to pick the guy that he thinks Adam will take, but that's a fool's errand.
Yeah.
Adam's got 3 guys that he'd be happy with already.
Yeah. But Brennan also has Dak as his quarterback, but they're going against the 49ers, so that's tough. He's got some places he's got to fill already, so he's got some work to do. Waiver wire, I got to think, is going to be very active this week because
with 4 teams on bye,
yeah,
some injuries and you've got, you've had 4 weeks, even me, I've had 4 weeks to look at some people and finally give up on them.
Yep. So,
naughty cat.
All
so
right.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll be some people picked up this week.
Yep. So who we got? Who's in 4th place in our league right now, Dave?
I believe that would.
Is that Ed or Ratty?
It would be Ed.
All right. So Ed goes against Brian, and both these guys got a little bit of work to do in their lineups, but we got Cousins versus Kansas City and Russell versus the Jets. That doesn't bode well for Russell Wilson. So, although he could play Love against Vegas if he wanted to. So that's Brian we're talking about. But this is a pick'em game.
I know. Well, and I mean, Ed's been like, you go from 180 to 70. Like, how do you plan for that if you're Brian? Like, you just take care of your own team, I guess. And Brian's had a couple close losses, and he's sitting there 1-3 now, and Ed's a 2-2 from dominating to being dominated. So
well, and if you're Brian, you got to really start thinking about. I mean, we're only 4 weeks in, but you don't want to hover down there in the bottom 2 or get multiple games between you and that 8th between you and that.
I know
playoff
what it's like
spot.
to be 1-3.
Yeah. So, all right, and then next we got probably Ratty. It's me versus Rademacher.
Okay, what do you think of that? He's been solid, and you've been spotty. You're coming off a strong week.
I mean, personally, I hate that Higgins is banged up.
Yeah.
For Ratty, it's like I don't mind not having to face him if he ends up not playing.
Yeah.
So is Pittsburgh's quarterback still out?
I don't think he's going to play. I think it's going to be Trubisky.
So then that makes my Baltimore defense feel even better.
Because Pittsburgh their offense wasn't lighting it up anyway, but I mean, Trubisky is a backup for a reason, so
yeah,
he's not quite as mobile.
Dave, let me ask your fantasy opinion here. All right, you just Richardson from here on out, right?
Well, I would.
Yeah. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has shown no signs of being the quarterback that people thought he was going to be. And their team may end up being fine, but like he's just not. They're not explosive.
Well, you have double reason too. Like Lawrence hasn't given you any reason to trust him. Plus, if you're you want ETN to get all the handoffs,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, it definitely helps round my team out. Like, I mean, again, if I was starting a quarterback, running back, and wide receiver from a team and they were just lighting up the stat sheet, but they're not. They're doing terrible.
So was Tennessee's defense, did they emerge and they're good now, or is it just the Bengals offense sucks? Because are you slightly worried that Tennessee's figured it out and they're going to shut down Richardson just like they shut down Burrow?
I don't know that we really have any way of knowing how this game's going to go, because the thing that allowed them to get to Burrow is the thing that Richardson has. Yeah, Burrow was so immobile.
Yeah.
And they can bring that kind of pressure at Richardson, and he's going to run for 9 yards every time.
Yeah.
So I think that they're going to have to stay back on him, like
put a spy on him and scheme to take advantage of his rookiness.
I think that Tennessee, I think that was a lot of pent up angst towards the Bengals for the last 2 years.
Maybe.
So, and they took it out on Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So I feel better about my team right now than I have in a while. Now, coming off 137 points, that's good, but I mean, not to. I had to do a lot of waiver wire work to get this team playable.
Yeah.
After week 1, even though I won, it was not looking good.
Would you have picked up Puka if we didn't talk about him?
I was picking up wide receivers. I mean, I was picking up all those players. So, and he was at the top of the list of like projected guys. There was like 2 guys. I actually think I missed out on somebody I wanted, and I can't remember who that was. I'd have to go back and look at that. But I mean, pull it up, Dave. You did this before.
You picked him up September 14th.
No, I know when I picked him up. I'm saying, has anybody made more waiver pickups than I have?
Transaction history.
Yes.
League history. The app is harder to find stuff like that. For me anyway, because I don't mess with it. Recent activity. Filters. Smithereens.
Is it under waiver order? No.
Transactions. I don't know, why is it only showing 2? Yeah, I don't like this. I'd have to look at it on the website, then I wouldn't be able to see you. But yeah, I don't know how many you've made, but
how do I go back and find out how many? Would it be under my team? Does it say?
So on the desktop, it's easier. You just go to.
I've made 8 acquisitions.
Because it like lists, I think, everybody's totals. Or transaction counter, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you find it?
You have 8. Off while tanning in his thong has 10.
Oh, so Junior's made more.
Yeah.
Junior, congratulations.
So yeah, and how well has it worked out for him?
Not as well as it's worked out for me.
Did you tell me the story, or maybe it was one of the other guys, that Junior will often have like 8 beers straight, but then he always has 2 more, just a little bit gay?
Yeah.
I think that was you told me that.
Poor Junior. Hey, you know what was fun the other night? Travis out of nowhere jumped into the league chat, into group me. Do you see all those?
And it didn't have anything to do with flexing.
No, it had to do with he enjoyed making fun of me, And then also a lot of Taylor's, like he knew more about, he knew just as much about Taylor as I did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there were a lot of Taylor quotes and stuff getting bounced around.
yeah. I do not feel good about this week because anytime you got to go against Tua and Tyreek, like
Your old nemesis.
yeah. So
You used to have
yeah.
him and now you don't.
Yeah. So all right, now we've got Andy versus you. How do you feel about your matchup with Andy?
I don't know what to think about Andy because he had like I think he started off week 1 with a 50 something. We're like, all right, Andy, you got to figure this out. And then he did. He was like 110, 150, and then he dropped back down to earth last week. And so it's like, who's gonna
Now,
show up there?
now
Now
Andy's already shown his hand. He's dropped 2 guys, though we know he's going to be active picking guys up.
he's got a running back on bye, so that and a kicker, so he's got to fill those spots. I don't really have anything I have to do, but who knows? I mean, I have no reason to trust Fields because he went against it, but I don't. I like. Would you dare pick up Zach Wilson just because he's going against Denver? I mean, like,
What I mean, we don't want to speak this out. I mean, don't you think if Adams targeting somebody that's off 2 things? One, how he looked in the game, right? I thought he looked really good
but
in Sunday Night Football.
did you see the clip of, I don't know, one of the I can't remember like one of the little pre-game things, and this guy was trying to bait this player on a form of about how bad Zach Wilson was and how he's worthless and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I think it was the week before or something. And they were ready to, like, everybody. The easy thing was to say he doesn't belong in the league. He can't play quarterback. You got who's
Joe Namath.
the radio guy that is a Jets fan.
Oh, you talking about Mike Greenberg or
Greenberg, yeah. Isn't that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Greeny, yeah. He's like, he can't play, just downing him, and then he has a game
Like,
like,
did you hear Joe Namath like
yeah, just pretty much.
said drop him?
So yeah, like, and now he's, he has a decent game against a good defense, and
I mean, outside of that fumbled snap that was costly, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But their defense also, I mean, dude, what a bogus call on Sauce. That's such a oh, I hated that.
they show the clip of him getting, like, he falls down because he thought he was going to get sacked and like all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So it's like, yeah, you could start him, and then you'd feel bad if he got like 5 points and 4.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who Adam starts at quarterback and if somebody, who else has to go out and pick somebody up. But Dobbs, Wilson, Stroud, Howell, Matt Stafford, who's, Garoppolo, Tannehill, those guys are available. So,
I mean, any given week,
yep.
obviously one of those guys is going to score 18 to 22.
Yeah. You know who's not on this list is our good buddy Jones that played on Monday Night Football. He's on somebody's team.
Oh, Mac?
No, Mac Jones is on the waiver.
Oh, Daniel, yeah.
Daniel is
because he was supposed to be decent.
So, all right, I think we've got one more matchup to talk about. We've got Rennie versus Junior.
Tanning in his thong.
Yeah.
So
based on the power rankings, you've got Junior not on the power rankings. Yeah. Rennie up above some of the teams that have more wins than him.
I feel like,
and he has a few more points than I do, so he ended up winning.
That was why I put him, just because he gets Barkley back. He's got Allen. He's
got a lot of Qs on his team.
Yeah, that's for certain. But he just, with the power rankings,
you like to
have to differ from the standings to some extent, and so you go with some momentum kind of stuff. So, and we got to wait and see if you're for real.
If I am,
Yeah, I mean, because I put I put myself at 10, even though I'm technically 9 in the standings because I felt like my last week's performance was a facade.
Yeah, but Brian, I mean, yes, Brian has been free falling though, so it's been tough. So,
I just,
yeah.
and I think
I,
we both must have put Ed or
yeah, our first like 6, where is it?
because I
Our
didn't go
first
by
our
the
first
standings.
6 players were the same
Okay.
when I got yours. And
So we
then
both had Ed above Lee, even though
yes.
Lee's technically above Ed into standings.
Yep.
And that was
Yep.
I was still giving Ed a pass from last week, scoring 180.
Yeah. And then we had I had myself above Rennie. Um, you had him above me. Rennie has more points than me. He wins that tiebreaker. I had Brian below you. You had Brian above you. You have more points than Brian. He won that tiebreaker. So,
Well, I
um,
I felt like Brian was closer to a second win than I was. He had a really
yeah.
close week, and I didn't.
What'd you think about that auto-generated graphic for?
Was that really what that was?
It really is what that
How do you
is.
do that? Like
Well,
a
there's
website or
websites
something? I
that'll
don't.
do that. Yeah, you type in a phrase or a say, I want a picture of, and then it just like does it.
You
I
don't
don't know
have any
how it
good.
does it.
Yeah. So it was what an
It's like
IU
a
guy stretching,
flexing, stretching. Yeah.
flexing.
So yeah, and then the the one of Junior sulking is like creepy. So
Yeah, that's sad. I don't see how Junior wins this week.
no, I don't either.
You
So,
just never
but
know, but
yeah,
but you know.
but he I'm sure Rennie's looking forward to getting to play Junior. So,
But yeah, bye
but
weeks. We got Seattle, Cleveland, Chargers, and Tampa Bay. So that's going to affect some stuff, uh, and then a few injuries here and there to deal with. And then, like I said, there's probably after 4 weeks, there's some people that's
yeah.
it's time to move on.
How
You've
do you
held on to
feel
them.
about your quarterback going on Thursday night?
I don't like it because if it's a low score, then all you have to think about is that until Monday night. But I don't know. I don't know because I have to decide tonight whether I'm going to put in for somebody that I think would do better on Sunday.
Yeah. And so the Jags just stay in London, right? They were there last week and
Yeah,
then they play another game. So do those count as their two? I mean, I know they're playing them as home games, but do they get 2 less home games or do they get,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But
So
nobody was
how
going to Jags games anyway.
okay.
I don't think. I mean, I, I I don't know that they sold out,
Yeah.
but I don't. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I
So
don't think. I think you lose them because
so
nobody else wants to give up a home game just because you went out of town.
right, right. Um, so Sunday night we've got Cowboys 49ers. That'll have some fantasy implications.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting whether it's going to be two teams that have supposedly have pretty good defenses, but they've also been scoring pretty good.
Yeah.
49ers probably more so than Dallas, but
Yeah.
you know,
It'll be interesting. Rennie's the gambler. Like, what is the over under number set at, and does Rennie think it'll be over that or under that?
for that game,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I
It'd be hard to pick that.
I would say I would venture to say they're going to try to do everything they can to stop each other and slow the game down so the other one can't
Yeah.
score a bunch.
Muck it
You
up.
know,
Yeah. And then on Monday Night Football, we got Packers versus Raiders. And even
yeah.
though neither team is playing the way that they had hoped to play, it'll still have some fantasy implications
Did
because
you see my write up on your
no,
Jaden Reed's gonna pass Monday night? Your Josh is gonna pass you up with because you don't right now you don't have anybody playing, but he does.
yeah, yeah.
If he keeps
Well,
that, you know.
Hey, if you haven't, go and read the write-up. Dave's
Yeah,
already got it out there.
I
Week
do.
5, our first foray of season into junior weeks. I mean, bye weeks. Bye. I mean, English is confusing. I get
See,
you.
Junior, bi can also mean bisexual. That's what I meant by that, in case you
I
weren't
got you.
sure. Okay.
Okay. I thought you meant that we call Junior bye week.
Uh,
Like that when we play him,
a double meaning,
trip triple
triple
meaning.
mean, lots of meanings on bi. A bi week. We used to say that about other people, but
Yeah.
you know,
I got a text message from our friend Danny tonight.
really,
Danny, if you still check this out, we miss you. And I said last week I've been looking for when I play you
some
because
of us miss him more than
yeah,
others
yeah, exactly.
this
We
year.
miss you so bad, Danny.
The wins are
Um,
wins are
yeah.
hard to come by for some of us.
So all right, Dave. Well, you good luck in your matchup,
Yeah.
and it is a war of friends between me and Ratty, and between Junior and Rennie. So should be a good time. And who are you up against again?
Who do we say? Andy, good old
You
good old Andrew, our new
Yeah. So
our new
I guess
recruit.
the only time that you really have to look at who you play is when it's you versus your arch nemesis Adam, right? And that's
Well, right now it's not shaping up to be much of a, you know,
you
much
mean
implications. If I'm sitting
uh,
there at 1-5 and he's 5-0 or 6-0 or something,
yeah,
I
well,
don't know when I play him. I don't remember.
so
It's not next week. Nope, not next week. It's not week 7. I must be way down the line. Yeah, way down there. I don't know. It's
uh
I got a while, so
you're Adam's
he could be
watching
10 and
this.
0 and I could
Adam's watching this and he knows, right? He knows what week he plays you, and he knows the matchups of every one of his players in that week.
I think you're giving me too much credit of him paying attention to me.
Uh,
Week
so
13. That's a long way off.
yeah.
He could be 13 and 0 and I could be 1 and 12.
Well, let's hope not. Either one of those. So, well, Dave, this was fun. Thanks for doing
Yeah.
this. Recording the
We weren't too
podcast.
hard on you,
No, yeah,
for
yeah.
you
Re-
know, losing
Kate,
out on $10 that there's no way you could have already spent because
yeah.
it's in my bank account.
Katie was looking. She couldn't find one. She wanted to get me a sash that said bridesmaid.
Do you know how many times you've came in second? It's probably not
Oh,
very many, is
Dave,
it?
a lot more than you would think,
In high points?
and with better scores than I had the other night.
Yeah.
And you want to know? So, like, in doing that research, and I didn't. Adam would have written it all down, so he had it. I just was looking at. So this is all anecdotal. Um, I haven't won a high point since 2017, right? In 2017, you mentioned it. All my kids were in elementary school or middle school. I've got a daughter in college now. I was still working at Bright Christian Church. I was what? How many years ago was that? So that's 6 years ago. I was like 41. You know what I mean? It's like as you know, young guy compared to where I am now. So all that history, right? All that's taken place. When I was looking through there was several times where I came in second for high points, and I
Okay.
had to look and be like, oh, who was it that knocked me out of high points? Like, who was it that I had 140 something points in one of those matchups, and then I was like, oh, well, who beat me? Dave, if I tell you who, not once, not twice, but I believe we could go back and fact check, we can find out for sure, but 2, possibly 3 times between 2017 and now who knocked me off from high points. Take a guess, someone who's still in the league
Yeah.
who knocked me out for high points. So this person has had way more. high points, including this season, than I've had in the last 6 to 7 years.
Travis?
No,
Adam.
no, those guys I expect to get high points.
Okay. Junior.
Ed.
No. He's gotten
Sneaky
it's his
high
boomer
points.
bust mentality, I guess, because he's gotten so, which I guess that, for that many years, it makes it hard for you to come out ahead because you have to make the playoffs to get any money if you don't get high points, and then you have to win a round just to get another 20. Yeah, it makes it tough to dig into that $60.
So there was a meme that I saw, and I needed to save it and send it to the group, and I got distracted and couldn't. But it was like a wife talking to her husband or something, and she was like, "So let me get this straight. You spent $60 to be in this league, and now at the end of the season, you've won 20, and you think you have 20 extra dollars." Like,
the math ain't mathing on that.
She's
Yeah.
like, I don't think you understand how this works. You know what I mean? Like it's this like conversation that's going back and forth, and it's like, so
yeah, you
so
don't think
look,
that you have to win 70 to win anything.
Yeah, like hold on. You spent 60 to be in the league. You spent 30 at the tavern the night of the draft. They made the playoffs and got $10 back for the season, and you think you have $10.
Yeah. Hey, we're 4 weeks in. It's about time for you to start coming up with some side bet ideas.
I'm gonna need a way to generate some extra revenue. That's for sure. We'll have to make. Well, maybe we'll do something. We didn't end up doing anything last year. Maybe we'll end up doing something just for the Thanksgiving games. That'll be fun. We'll do a little Thanksgiving side bet. Adam's got some good ideas for some side bets, but I hate using Adam's ideas because in my mind I think that just means he's going to win. So
I would hear him out. I don't remember what they are, but yeah, we'll have to do something, spice things up a little bit.
Yeah. So, well, guys, thank you for watching the podcast. Dave, thanks as always. And it's my 20th anniversary tonight, and this is how I wanted to spend it. So cheers, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Even you, Junior.